Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to be showing you some quick tips that can help improve your start menu as well as add more functionality to it, such as adding the ability to actually be able to select the various different options with your keyboard and adding a shortcut to each of your buttons that will automatically select said buttons. So with that said, let's jump right in. So I'm not going to be showing you step by step on how to actually create this menu here, but I am going to be showing you an overview. So essentially it's just a control node, which I actually made a theme for, which is called Start Menu Theme, where I made some styles for the button and label. Then as a child of the control, I have a texture rect that includes my image here for the background. And then I have a label for the title, and then I have a main menu, which is the VBox container that contains all my different buttons, such as the start button, settings button, and the quit button, which all have a on-press signal that's connected to the start menu. Then I have a pop-up, which is called settings menu, which are automatically, that should be hidden automatically. And then inside there I have a bunch of different options. So essentially I just have a color rect for the background, a label saying settings, and then I have another VBox container for the main menu too, which has a HBox container that includes all the other buttons, which also have a on-press signal that's also connected to the start menu. Then I have a VBox container that contains my different settings. So the settings are a grid container. And inside the grid container, there's a bunch of things such as labels and check buttons and so forth, essentially all the different settings. And it's the same thing for the audio settings and the control settings essentially. And I actually am hiding the control settings and the audio settings by default so that it doesn't just keep going down. And then the control rect here is just serving as a means to hide the settings coming in when the animation plays, as you saw there. So that's the only purpose of the control rect there, as you can see. Anyway, that's a brief overview of how the settings menu or the main menu is actually set up. Now I am going to be including a link to the GitHub project in the description so you can check it all out there. Anyway, in the actual script, I am starting by getting all the different things such as the settings menu, the video settings, audio settings, control settings, animation player, and the start button with an unready var at the very top. So I am doing that. And then with the different signals, for example, when the start button is pressed, I am doing getTree.change scene to my level 1. So if I go ahead and open up my level 1 scene here, it's just basically a control node with a color rect and a label. Anyway, let me actually go ahead and hide the settings menu and actually show my main menu and go back into the script. So when the settings button is pressed, then I'm going ahead and showing my pop-up by doing pop-up centered. So that's basically what this line of code does. It's actually showing my pop-up and centering it on screen. Then I'm calling a function called hide settings, and in that function we're basically just hiding the video settings, the audio settings, and the control settings, which are defined up here as unready vars. And then I'm calling the play animation function, which just goes ahead and plays the animation for my settings. Anyway, I go ahead and do that in the settings button, and then I make sure that I'm actually showing the video settings by default when the settings button is pressed. Then when the quit button is pressed, I'm just doing getTree.quit to actually quit the scene. So if I go ahead and actually test this out, you will see if I press the start button, it takes me to level 1. And then if I relaunch everything again and I select the settings button, it goes and opens up my pop-up and it shows me the various different settings. And if I actually select the audio button and the control button, it will show me the different settings for those as well. Now they do have the exact same settings. The only difference is that once is audio and the other one's is control and once is VSync. So I didn't bother to actually make proper settings for these, but that would be something that you would actually want to do. Anyway, I can press escape to close the pop-up, and then if I press the quit button, it will actually quit the game. Anyway, with that said, as I said here, when the video button is pressed, which is my settings button, I'm hiding the settings, and then I'm showing the video settings that show, and then I'm pretty much just repeating this for the audio button pressed and the controls button pressed signal functions. Also, I'm hiding the settings, and then I'm showing the specific settings for the button that was pressed. And that's essentially how the start menu actually works. So if I go ahead and launch everything, you will see that it basically allows me to select the buttons and press them, and it does whatever we defined in our code, as you can see. Anyway, let's say that we actually want to be able to select those buttons with our keyboard. To do that, we can actually do that really easily. So we can do a func ready. So in the function ready, all we have to do is we have to grab the focus. So I'm going to grab the focus on the start button by default. So I'm going to do start button dot grab focus, and if I control on grab focus, it does exactly what it says. It steals the focus from another control and it becomes the focus control. So if I go ahead and launch the scene now, you will notice that the start button is actually focused and selected by default, and then I can just use the arrow keys on my keyboard to just go and select the various different options and buttons that I have, which is actually built into Godot by default. You just have to make sure that you actually grab the focus automatically when you first launch the game to actually get it to work. Now, let's say we want to actually go to the start button when we press down on the quit, or to the quit button when we press up on the keyboard to select the quit button. To do that, and I would actually highly recommend that you actually do this, even if you're not wanting that functionality, or it's because it's making sure that it will actually select the proper button that you want. So make sure that you actually go ahead and do this. So if you go into the inspector with the button selected, there's a drop down called focus, and you actually want to define these things here. So for the neighbor top here, we want to select the button that's on top. So basically in this case, we're going to select the quit button so that when we press the up arrow key on our keyboard, it will go to the quit button. Then we also want to define the neighbor bottom in this case. So what's underneath my start button, that's the settings button. So you want to go ahead and do this for each button essentially. So in this case, we're just defining the neighbor top and the neighbor bottom. We're not doing it for the right or left. So just go ahead and do this for each button. So for the quit button, what's on top of my quit button is the settings button. What's below it, it's going to be my start button. And because it's the quit button. So when I press the down arrow key, when my quit button is selected, it's going to take me to the start button. If I press up arrow key, when the start button is selected, it will take me to my quit button, as you see here. And like I said, if I press down, when the quit button is selected, it takes me to start. And I can just cycle between each option now. Now, you would also want to do this for your settings buttons as well. And I actually already went ahead and did that. So as you can see here, if I press right on the video, it takes me to the controls. If I press left on the video, it takes me to controls. If I press right on the controls, it takes me to video, and vice versa. And I set that up on the focus drop down by specifying neighbor right and neighbor left. Anyway, I am actually going to go ahead and set up the shortcut for the button now. And I'm going to select the button here and actually set that up. And actually, before I do that, I want to go to project settings, input map, and actually define some actions here. So in this case, I'm going to specify an action for start, and then I'm going to go ahead and add it, and then I'm going to go ahead and add a key to it. In this case, let's say let's do the space bar for the shortcut. So we're going to do space. And then I'm going to define another action. In this case, it's going to be the quit action. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. And in this case, the key is going to be escape. Then I'm going to set up an action for my settings. So action settings, add, and then the key. In this case, I'm going to do tab, and that should work fine. So I'm just going to close this. Then with the start button still selected, I am going to go to the inspector, and there's the option called shortcut. I can click on empty, new shortcut, and then click on empty once more, and then new input event action. Then I can click on the new input event action, and I can actually specify the name of the action. In this case, it's start. Then I just want to go ahead and do this for the other buttons as well. So for the settings, shortcut, input event action, and then the name of the action. So in this case, settings. And then for the quit button, empty, new shortcut, empty, new input event action, and then the name. So in this case, it's quit. And if I go ahead and run the game now, and I actually test this out, you will see that we can still select my buttons with the arrow keys on my keyboard, but if I actually press the spacebar, it will actually take me to level 1. And if I relaunch the scene, and then this time I press the escape button, it will actually quit the game. And if I run the scene once more, and I press tab, and it's actually not opening up my settings menu, and I think that's because by default Godot actually has the tab key assigned to a different action. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually change the key for my action for the settings. So I'm gonna go to project settings, and then I'm gonna scroll down in the input map and adjust the key, or change the key for my settings. In this case, I'm gonna make it be E, and if I relaunch everything and I actually press E this time, it will actually go ahead and open up my settings options where I can go ahead and do whatever I want with my settings. Anyway, with that, we're done. So I'm going to be leaving a link to the GitHub project in the description where you can go ahead and check this project out. Anyway, as always, if you liked the video, make sure you leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next one.